So we are going to begin with the chapter 4. The title of the chapter 4 is Register Transfer Statements and Micro Operations. And these are the different sections covered up in your course. And if you do talk about regarding the contents, then you do have register transfer language, register transfer, arithmetic micro operations, and logical micro operations. The very first section, that is the 4.1, is entitled as Register Transfer Language. It basically introduces you the different notations in order to transfer the data from one register to another. Whatever kind of the operations are performed at the register level, those operations are called as a micro operations. Like in the chapter 8, you had done the assembly language program. I had explained you to how to write down an assembly language program in order to evaluate any mathematical expression. In that case, you had written a sequence of instructions. Corresponding to that sequence of instructions, you had written a mm, sequence of micro operations. Micro operations means whatever are the kind of the corresponding smaller instructions which will be executed at the register level in order to perform that specific kind of operation. So operations executed on data stored in one or more registers is called as your micro operations. For any function of the computer, a sequence of micro operations is used to describe it. Means ultimately, if you, once you write down an instruction, like you write down add instruction, multiply or subtract, how internally in the backend at the CPU level, at the register level, how it gets executed with the help of a sequence of smaller expressions known as your micro operations, and the result of the operation may be replace the previous binary information of a register or transfer to another register. What kind of the operations may be there? Means the data may be overwritten in some of the register, or data may be transferred from one register to another, and so many such other kind of the operations other than these also can be there. And in order to transfer the data from one register to another, some specific notations are to be used, and those notations, graphical notations, comprise your register transfer language. A symbolic notation to describe the micro operation transfers data among registers. So some kind of the symbols are to be used, some kind of the hardware in the form of your register, hardware in the form of your different memory that is also required, that will facilitate the transfer of data from one unit to another. What kind of the units can be there? On one side the registers can be there, on another side the memory can be there, or some kind of the control signals can also be used. So this was all about the introductory part of your register transfer language in section 1, section 4.1. Next is your section 4.2, register transfer. What kind of the registers generally are being used in order to facilitate your register transfer. Like if I do come to the e-copy of your book, this is your e-copy of your book, right? So very first section is your register transfer language. So this was all about the introductory section about your register transfer language, what kind of the symbols, what kind of the notations are being used in order to describe the register transfer language. Now in detail we'll come to the subsequent section, that is your register transfer, how actually the register transfer takes place. Like this is one of the example, this is a notation that is being used. These are the notations, these are the names or designated names given to different registers. So what it says that if the data has to be transferred from register R1 to R2, how will it be written? This arrow mark will be used, and arrow will go into the direction of that destination register, and it will begin from the source register. So it means that the data from register R1 will be transferred to register R2, right? So this is one of the symbol used in order to describe your register transfer language. And the entire register, this is the notation of the register. Say if you do say that the capacity of the register may vary from the configuration of CPU to CPU, basically. So the size of the register may either be 8 bits, or it may be 16 bits, or it may be 32 bits. It all depends on the specifications of that specific kind of the CPU, in the context of which we are going to talk about the register transfer language. So this is a way how to describe a register. R1 is a register, and it will be having, it will basically, it will be able to store the data as per its capacity. So at present, how many bits are described here? How many bits are showed? So it is this A part, B part is showing that the size of this register is 8 bits, beginning from 0 to the 7th location. So 8 bits at the most may be stored. And in figure C, it shows that for R2, the size of the register is 16 bits. Here it is beginning from 0th bit and ultimately it is going up to 15 bits. So at the most, 16 bits may be stored within the capacity of this given register R2. Now it can be divided in two parts: lower bits to the extreme left hand side, higher bits to the extreme right hand side. It may be divided in two parts. Like from 0 to 7 bits may be called as the lower bits of register R2. Similarly, from beginning from 8th to the 15th bit would be called as your higher bits of register R2. Again, we do have one more type of the transfer of the data from register R1 to R2. Of its own, the data will not be transferred from one register to another until or unless some of the control signal is enabled. So whenever we are going to talk about the transfer of the statement, we are going to talk about the micro operations at the register level, those get activated with activation of some kind of the control signal. So here as a whole, this statement is being written that comprises two parts. This if p is equal to 1 is called as a control signal. Whenever this control signal is enabled, whenever p comes out to value of p comes out to be as 1, then only this register transfer statement will take place. So this is the register transfer take place, and this part is called as a control signal, right? Or it is called as a control function. And in another way it can also be written as p colon r1. The contents of r1 will get transferred to r2, and value of p can either be 0 or 1. Whenever its value becomes as equal to 1, then only this register transfer statement takes place. So this is one of the example of register transfer statement. In a similar manner, so many other kind of the register transfer statements, complex register transfer statements can also take place, right? So in exam, what kind of a question may come? Like you will be given such kind of a statement including the control function as well as the register transfer statement. Based on this statement, you would be asked to draw this kind of a block diagram. Means by grammatically you will have to explain how this activity will take place, and as well as you will be asked to draw its timing diagram. Means always this activity will take place with the activation of some positive transition of the clock as well. So because in the system internal clock is also working, and when the clock is enabled, then only this control function will be enabled. And once this control function will be enabled, in consequence to that, this register transfer will take place. So one clock will be controlling all the activities. So in order to describe this kind of the register transfer statement, you would be asked to draw this kind of the block diagram. So what is the meaning of this block diagram? This the capacity of R1, we are assuming that this R1 as well as the R2 registers are of the size n bits. So whenever the register transfer takes place, that means all n bits parallelly are being transferred to register R2. So either means here you have drawn two registers, notation of the two registers, R1 as well as R2. So whenever this register transfer will take place, means all n bits will be transferred from R1 to R2. So how graphically or symbolically you will be presenting this kind of the transfer statement. So you will either you need to draw n number of, because n number of, in order to represent the n number of bits, you need to draw n number of these separate arrows. Or otherwise what you can do, that you can draw one arrow and diagonally you need to draw one small line over it, and you need to write down those many number of bits will get transferred from R1 to R2. So this is the way that simple diagonally. If you draw a diagonally line over the arrow of its own, it will signify that all n bits will be whatever is the size, whatever the number you are going to write it down, that will represent the capacity of the register, size of the register. So that means all n bits will be transferred from R1 to R2. So this is the way how to represent this transfer statement with the help of the graphical notation. Now we come to the this control function. So there will be some kind of the control circuit, and that will be basically what I told you, that whenever value of p is equal to 1, its value can either be 0 or its value can either be 1. Whenever its value will be equal to 1, then only all the n bits from R1 will get transferred to register R2. So that means here some control signal, control circuit is there, that will enable the value of P as 1. Whenever its value becomes as value equal to 1, then the load signal is there. Load signal is enabled, and when the load signal is enabled, then and prior to that the clock is enabled. We'll say that whenever the with respect to its positive transition of the clock, this P will be enabled. When P will be enabled, then load signal will be enabled. When load will be enabled, then all n bits from R1 to R2 will be transferred. So what will be its corresponding timing diagram? That way, this way we'll have to draw its timing diagram. I earlier told you in the previously in the 5th chapter that this is the way that how we draw the symbolic diagram of clock. The clock is basically nothing but the sequence of the pulses. Whenever some signal is coming there, electrical signal is coming there, so it will be enabled or else it will be disabled. This enabled, whenever it is enabled, so it is called as a positive transition. This higher edge is basically is going to represent your positive transition, and this lower edge is going to represent your negative transition, means it is disabled. Or you may call it as that no electrical signal is passed over it. And then this entire clock cycle that includes one positive transition as well as one negative transition. So from beginning from this point, positive clock transition, generally all the activities are triggered with respect to the positive transition of the clock, and these remain activated till one clock cycle, till another any other control signal gets activated, right? So what will be the one control cycle including one positive transition and as well as including one negative transition. So beginning from this point till this, it will be called as a tth timing signal. From beginning from this next edge and up to this point including one positive transition and negative transition, it will be called as your next timing signal. What will be next timing signal? It will be t plus 1. Similarly, next will be called as a t plus 2, and so on. So we may call it that the clock will be generating a sequence of timing signal. With respect to the timing signal, some specific timing signal, or with respect to the positive transition of the clock as some tth timing signal, this p will be enabled. When p will be enabled, then load signal will be enabled. That means load signal will be enabled. So as and when this clock is having the positive transition at this point, the load will be enabled. It will remain enabled during this timing signal, and as and when the load will be enabled, right, at as and when it will be enabled, then the register transfer statement will take place. At what point? At t plus 1 timing signal, the register transfer will take place. Means the data from R1 register to R2 gets transferred during t plus 1 timing signal. So this is the timing diagram. How in sequence with respect to the activation of the control signal, with respect to when value of p, when the with respect to the positive transition of the clock, how the p becomes equal to 1, and when p becomes equal to 1, that means load signal is enabled, and as and when the load signal is enabled, at this point the register transfer takes place, and that means data will be transferred from R1 to R2. So if we so this kind of a question generally comes in your final exam. Now based on this topic, let me come to the back exercise. Prior to that, you can go through this table. This kind of a register transfer generally takes place. In the first example, only one register transfer was taking place. Like here in this case, we have done with this kind of the example we have done with. The data was transferred from register R1 to R2. And here another one more example is given, like when T is enabled, then that means R1, contents of R1 will be transferred to R2. In parallel to that, contents of R2 will be transferred back to R1. So that means swapping. So we are here, we are going to swapping of the contents from register R1 to R2. Again, you may be asked to draw the block diagram of this kind of the statement with respect to the activation of some kind of the control signal. Whenever value of t will become equal to 1, then this kind of the swapping will take place. You may be asked to draw that kind of a block diagram as well as the timing diagram. And if you do talk about this table, so these are the simple notations used in the register transfer language, like different letters and numerals. Those are used in order to denote a register. Generally, the capital letters are to be used, like R2 may be used, or MAR signifies the memory address register. Similarly, different other kinds of the registers can be there that we already have studied in fifth chapter. And parenthesis may also be used, denotes a part of a register, like if we are going to talk about only the partial portion of the register, then in that case the parenthesis basically may be used. Parenthesis means we are going to talk about from 0 to 7. Here we have specified a range, means from 0 to 7 bits are to be extracted from register R2. Similarly, you may write down R2 within the parenthesis as capital L. Capital L will represent the left side, the lower bits of the register R2. Similarly, arrow is being used in order to denote the transfer of information, which data will be transferred from one register to another, and as well as the comma is also to be used to separate two micro operations. So here the two micro operations may be separated with the help of a comma. So that is going to signify the swapping of the contents of two registers R1 and R2. Now, based on this section 4.2, I would like to come to the back exercise. This is a back exercise. Section 4.1, question 4.1. Show the block diagram of the hardware that implements the following registered transfer statement. It is a similar kind of the question as given in the chapter, that we are here going to talk about the swapping of the contents between two registers. Contents are being transferred from R1 to R2, and as well as the contents are transferred back from R to R1. That means the swapping takes place. And whenever with respect to some of the control function when is enabled. Earlier there was T only, but here in this case Y dot T2. It is basically going to signify the AND operator, and over Y and T2. So now what you have to do, you have to draw the block diagram of the hardware that implements the following register transfer take place. So I am coming to the solution of this question. That is question number 4.1. What you have to do, on one side you have to draw, you have to show that how the register transfer statement will take place, and what kind of the register transfer statement we are going to talk about. We are going to talk about the swapping of the contents from in between register R1 and R2, right? So that means for register R1, again you have to make use of some rectangular box. For R2 also you have to make use of some kind of the rectangular box, and always you have to draw a clock as well. Why? Because with respect to the positive transition of the clock only, and this register transfer statement will take place subject to the activation of this control function. So in parallel to that, you have to talk about all the three components: register transfer statement, clock, and control function. What actually we are going to talk about? We are going to talk about the transfer of data, transfer of n bits from register R1 to R2, and henceforth from R2, from these lines to back to the R1. So that way the data transfer will take place. That way the swapping of the contents will take place. So that means you have to begin with R1, and you have to draw this arrow, and you have to make use of a small diagonal line, and you have to write down n will signify your n number of bits. It means that contents and bits, all n bits from register R1 will get transferred to register R2 after with respect to some of the clock transition, positive transition of the clock, and subject to whenever this is enabled. What is enabled? This is this control function YT2. YT2, what was it? It was given in the, what is the meaning of that? Given in the question. YT2 means the ended whenever AND operator is being applied over Y and T2, and the result becomes as 1, this it is enabled, then only this register transfer will take place. So that you have to show with the, by drawing a block diagram. That means YT2, that means AND operator is basically applied, and when its value comes out to be as 1, that means load signal will be enabled. When load will be enabled with respect to some of the clock, positive clock transition of clock, and then that means then only it is connected with R1 as well as R2, then only this register transfer statements will take place. Contents of R1 gets transferred to R2, as well as again you have to connect these the transfer statement. You have to show the transfer statement further by drawing one more arrow. The data is coming from R2 afterwards and going into R1, and with respect to some of the clock transition of clock, here you are not asked to draw any kind of the timing diagram, only you have been asked to draw the block diagram, and that's why only the block diagram has been drawn in front of you. But sometimes you may be asked to draw the timing diagram as well as your that basically the timing diagram as well as the block diagram. So you do practice for that as well. Sorry. And now I would like to come to question number 4.3. It's a similar kind of a question as we have done in 4.1. Represent the following conditional control statement by two register transfer statements with control functions. Again, you have to draw the block diagram for this given statements. What it is given, if P is equal to 1, then this register transfer should take place. As if value of Q is equal to 1, then this kind of a register transfer should take place. Right here, the two control functions are there. At one time, P is equal to 1, and at one time, Q is equal to 1. Right? So, how to represent this kind of a register transfer statement with the help of a block diagram? This is a kind of a block diagram. Here, you have to give the register transfer statement only. See, you have not been asked to draw the block diagram. You have been asked to represent the following conditional control statement by two register transfer statements with two control functions. Means with respect to given control functions, you have to, in a symbolic manner, you have to specify the two register transfer statements. This kind of a register transfer statements means if P colon means P is enabled, then that means content from R2 to the R1 will be transferred. And if P is not 1, P is not 1 means it will be 0. That means we are going to talk about its complemented value. So P dash dot Q. So Q will be basically you are enabled, and P dash, the value of P dash will be of its own, it will be 0. So whenever Q is enabled, then this kind of a register transfer will take place. So I'm giving you in the form of the assignment that you have to draw its block diagram as well. So you draw its block diagram, and as well as try to draw its timing diagram and submit me in the form of the assignment. Now, any other similar kind of a question I'm not being able to find out. If we do come to the section question 4.7, the following register transfer statements specify memory. Explain the memory operation in each case. In question number, it's a similar kind of a question as we have solved in chapter 5. Like what it is saying that how this register transfer will take place. You have to what you have to do, explain the memory operation in 4.7. Come to 4.7. What actually it is doing? Read memory words specified by the address into the register R2. You have to specify its meaning basically. The following register transfer statements specify memory, explain the memory operation in each case. Means in the words you have to specify what actually is going to happen. That means the data will be read from some specific address in the memory and it will be transferred to R2. M of AR means AR specifies your address register. M means the data will be read from that address from the memory, and it will be transferred to register R2. So what is the meaning of statement B? That the data will be read from register and it will be stored in the memory at some specific address specified by AR register. Similarly, what is the meaning of C? That data will be R5. R5. R5 means basically R5 will consist of some of the address, and then that address at present is there. Let me come to 4.7, then I will explain you. Right? Read memory words specified by the address in R1 and transfer content to R5. What it basically is doing, that otherwise what generally happens, it generally, whenever we are going to talk about the memory, that means we are going to talk about in terms of some of the address. So if this kind of the statement is given in front of you, that means at present the address is being stored in R5, and the address will be read from R5, and from that address from memory some of data will be read there, that data will be transferred to R5, and the previously stored address in R5 will be overwritten, though that will be destroyed. So in words only you have to specify or the meaning of all these register transfer statements, and it's well clear what is the meaning of all these statements. Now we come to question number 8, 4.8. It's a similar kind of the question as explained in 4.1 and 4.3. Draw the block diagram for the hardware that implements the following statement. All these questions are extremely very important from the exam point of view. So what is the kind of the statement is given in front of you? That again some kind of the control function is given. What is that control function? X plus yz. X, and whenever x plus yz is enabled, then this register transfer statement will take place. What is the register transfer statement? That AR contents of AR will be added to BR, and the result will be transferred to AR. See, here the plus sign is there on right hand side as well as on the left hand side. What is the meaning of this plus sign? On left hand side there is a control function. We call it as a control function, and this is the way by which that we specify the. This is one way of writing down the register transfer language. So this is one of the example of register transfer language in order to represent that this kind of the register transfer statement. This is a control function, and this is your register transfer statement. This control function will be enabled, then only this register transfer statement will take place. This plus on the in the control function specifies the OR operator, whereas this plus function on right hand side specifies the addition operator. Do remember, this is the difference of the same plus being used on left hand side and right hand side. In the control function, whenever we are going to talk about this plus operator, it will signify your OR operator, and on right hand side whenever this plus is going to this plus operator is going to signify the addition operator, right? So accordingly only you have to draw the block diagram. Now you have to draw the block diagram. How you will be drawing, the way it is mentioned in the question, in the similar manner you have to draw the block diagram. Say on one side it is question 4.8. What you are going to talk about? We are going to talk about the addition of two numbers which are stored in two registers. Which registers? AR and BR register. Again, one rectangular box you have to make use for AR, another rectangular base you have to use for BR, and then you have to somehow you have to show the addition operator, and then you have your contents will be transferred to AR. And regarding this control function, what you have to do? You have to draw the logical circuit diagram. Logical circuit diagram means OR operator you have to use, and in YZ you have to use one AND operator, and then ultimately OR operator over X and YZ. See, first of all, I do talk about control function. The control function may a simple small logic circuit diagram as you have done in first chapter, right? That kind of a diagram you have to draw. What you have to draw? AND operator means you have to apply over Y and Z, and then on X and YZ you have to apply one OR operator. So whenever it will be enabled, then load signal will be enabled. Now we are going to talk about addition of BR and AR, and result ultimately gets stored back to AR. We have to show again symbolically, graphically. How will show? Somewhere some kind of the adder circuit will work here. So adder circuit you have to show here. In adder circuit, the contents from BR register will go into adder. Similarly from AR also these n bits will go. Its size is n bits, and we are assuming size of BR is also n bits. So from AR again, this arrow you need to mark it towards in the direction of adder. So n bits are coming to the adder. This is a circuit in order to facilitate the addition of two numbers. So one number is coming from AR, all n bits, and from BR also on n bits are coming, and this adder will add these two numbers. Ultimately, the result known as sum will come out of it, and ultimately it will be stored back to AR. And this all is done with respect to some of the positive transition of the clock. So in parallel to it, you have to show the clock also. And when will this register transfer takes place? When this control function is enabled. When it is enabled means then load is enabled. So you have to draw the logic circuit diagram of control function, as well as you have to draw this register transfer statement with some kind of the graphical representation. So as a whole, it will work this block diagram for this given problem for question number 8 4.8. Again, I am repeating that this plus operator, if you make use in case of your control function, it will work as your or operator. But in case you make use of this plus function in your register transfer function, register transfer statement, then it will work as your addition operation. So as per the meaning of this, you have to draw the block diagram for control function, you and as well as for register transfer statement. Then you have to connect these two small diagrams, a small block diagram, in order to make a bigger diagram. Now I do come to question number 4.9. Show that the hardware that implements the following statement include the logic gates for the all these questions that we are discussing. You have to submit in the form of the assignment, either on mail or you have to upload on Google Classroom by tomorrow night. The show the hardware that implements the following statement include the logic gates for the control function and a block diagram for the binary counter with the count enable input. Again, you have to show this register transfer statement, and you have to show the logic circuit diagram for this control function. Control function, which how many number of gates basically it is consisting of. In between this, it is consisting of one AND gate, then it is consisting of another AND gate, and then over these three operand, it is consisting of one OR gate. So accordingly, you have to draw the control logic circuit diagram regarding. So accordingly, we are going to draw some. I think complement is also there. Inverter gate is also being used. Somewhere dash is there. Yes, it is. Some misprinting is there. I hope. Let me go to the solution. The way where the inverter gate is being used. It is T2 and Y dash. Is it Y dash? Somewhere it is Y dash. Then in place of Y, it is Y dash. Some misprinting is there. It is Y dash T2. If it is Y dash, then one inverter gate will be used, and afterward the AND gate will be used over Y dash and T2. So accordingly, you have to draw this logic circuit diagram. It is Y dash and T2, and then T1 is directly coming to it OR gate, and then the ending of X, Y, and T2 is coming to this. Ultimately, you are using this OR gate, and then is the count enable. When it will be enabled, then only it gets this will be incremented. This will be incremented, which will be incremented. AR will be incremented by 1. And for incrementation operation, directly incrementer are available. Incrementer circuit chips are available in the system, and that's why no internal detailed explanation is given. Only abstract diagram of binary counter is mentioned here. You binary counter are built-in kind of a counter that automatically will be generating in the next sequence that will increment the value by one of its own. That's why directly and bit binary counter the abstract diagram of binary counter is drawn here. So this control function, the logic circuit diagram of the control function directly needs to be connected to the binary counter in order to draw the entire diagram. So it will show the block diagram of the problem given in question number 4.9. Now next is which appears to be the important is come to question number. Acha, now question number 4.2 is based on the next topic mentioned in section 4.3. We'll come to that after discussing that topic. Afterwards, simple. Come to question number 19. The 8-bit registers AR, BR, CR, and DR initially have the following values. Some of the registers are given, some of the values are given in those initialized in those registers. Determine the 8-bit values in each register after the execution of the following sequence of micro operations. Means here some of the micro operations is given, and you have to, after the evaluation of all these micro operations, you have to calculate the final value. What you have to do, AR plus BR, and the contents transferred to AR. So what the value of AR is given, this is the value of AR. Similarly, which value of BR is given, this is the value of BR. These two, manually you have to add these two values as you have done in third chapter, and whatever the basically result will come out, that ultimately will be stored in the AR. So that way you have to calculate, you have to do the addition of two number, and ultimately you have to show the final result stored in AR. Similarly, in the next statement, what is given in front of you, that AND operator is applied over CR and DR. AND operator is applied over CR and DR. You have to apply the AND operator over the contents of CR and DR. Bit by bit, you have to apply the AND operator. Whatever the result, final result will come out, that ultimately you have to transfer it to CR. And then you have to increment the value of BR by 1. Means you have to do add. You have to add one value 1 in BR, and in parallel to this value, you have to calculate this value as well. So manually you have to calculate it. You have to add value 1 in the value given in BR. Ultimately, whatever the value comes out, that ultimately will be stored in BR, that you have to show. Next is AR minus CR. The result will go to AR. So that means what you have to do, you have to subtract these two values. And the way I already had told you, for doing the subtraction, wherever there is a negative sign, you can apply the 2's complement, and you can add the 2's complement in AR. Ultimately, some kind of the, if carry is generated, then you have to discard that carry, and the result will be stored in AR. The way you have done the subtraction operation in third chapter, in the similar manner, you have to apply it here. So those many questions I have discussed as present. Which questions I have discussed, I am repeating. You can note it down. See, these are the questions. Question 4.1 and question 4.2, question 4.3, and then question afterwards we have discussed question 4.7, then question 4.8, 4.9. Afterwards, question number 12 we'll discuss later on. Then question number 19. Then question number, yes, till question number 19 we have discussed. Right? So you have to submit all these questions in the form of the assignment. Now I am coming to the next topic of the same chapter. That is section 4.3. Again, it is very extremely very important. Let me see whether it's there in your course. 4.3 is not in your course. You can leave this section. And now I'm coming to section 4.4. Binary adder is very important. I hope it should be in section 4.4. See, few of the pages from this e-copy of the book are missing. These pages are missing. So after 101, you may see that 103 is given, and afterwards binary adder is coming out. Yes, binary adder is there, but binary adder comes out in section your see, section 4.4 is missing. So few of the pages or in between of this e-copy of book are missing. You can refer to the hard copy of your book, right? So I'm coming directly to section 4.4, that consists of some important topics. That is your binary adder, or let me show you with the help of your PPT as well. We were talking about the PPT. This is a PPT register transfer statement based on section 4.2. I already have discussed all these topics and register transfer statements and this kind of the diagram, timing diagram I already have discussed, and register transfer statement, this table also I had a talk regarding this table. And then section 4.4 also talks about your, yes, it is extremely very important. Section 4.4. Here we will talk about the arithmetical as well as the logical operations, right? And then what are the basic arithmetical operations? These are the basic arithmetical operations: addition, subtraction, increment, decrement, and shift. Addition, this is the addition operation that can be applied over the contents stored in register R1 and R2. Ultimately, the contents are transferred to register R3. Similarly, it is the subtraction operation. Content of R1 will be subtracted from content of R2 will be subtracted from R1. Result will be stored to R3. And this is basically how this subtraction will take place. Here, the one's complement is being taken, and the one ultimately is being added in order to take the 2's complement, and the 2's complement value is being added into R1, and that ultimately is being shifted to R3. Means how the subtraction will take place: you have to have the 2's complement of the negative value, and means first of all you have to have the 1's complement. Ultimately you have to add value 1 in the 1's complement in order to find out the 2's complement. So that way you have to find out the 2's complement. You have to apply the subtraction operation. What are the other operations? One's complement, it is represented with the help of this. A bar sign is there over the R2, so that will represent your one's complement. How the two's complement is being taken? First of all, you will be taking the one's complement, and then you will be adding value 1 in R1 complement, and then it will be giving you two's complement. And increment micro operation, how will it work? That you need to add value 1 in content of R2 in order to find out the increment, apply the increment operation. What is the meaning of the decrement operation? You need to subtract one value from the contents of R2 in order to represent your decrement operation. And next is the very important topic, that is the arithmetic binary micro operations, binary adder and binary subtractor, as well as your binary incrementer. These three concepts are extremely very important from the exam point of view. Generally, you have been asked to draw the block diagram of all these. See, I am see I am holding for I'm